Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette. We're so glad you're with us today to stay curious. And we've got two outstanding young men here that are going to educate you about the Air Force and the Space Force. We have to my immediate right here, Patrick Eglinton. Patrick, thank you for being here today. All right.
It.
And give a big wave out to your family, Jacob Salwey there. Jacob, uh, I'm sure you got friends and family watching on our YouTube channel, and we welcome everybody out there today, including our regulars here on another beautiful fall day in the Space Coast of Florida. No rocket launches going on today, but we had two noisy rocket launches yesterday that, geez, just 4 hours apart. And I'm going to have a little comment about that. But how are you guys today?
Doing very well. Had a great day so far.
Yeah, great day so far. What did you think about 12:30 and 4:30 rocket launches rattling our windows?
So it's pretty awesome. I got to actually be there myself at Kennedy Space Center. I got to watch the countdown. It was very amazing. I love it. I love watching the big boom at the end when the rockets came down as well, the
Yeah,
system. So
I like looking at all the people who don't expect that jump
yeah.
when they see that. You know what I'm talking about in
yeah,
there.
as well.
Jacob walked into our uh, museum about 10 days ago or so, a couple weeks ago, and wanted to put out some recruiting things. And of course, we'll do that. But of course, we want to try to get him on there. So I really appreciate that. I know you had to check with your superiors and all that stuff. And we know they're watching. And we're going to learn a lot about the Space Force, but how these are Air Force guys and recruiting both parts of that, a new branch of our government. Hello to Steve Jokums today. He's up there in Illinois on the shores of Lake Michigan. Enjoyed talking to you today, Steve. And Mitch Rothman. He has a Facebook page called Man Space, and he says hi to everybody today. You're going to learn some things, Mitch, like I have, talking to these two young men. And Dean Babcock, good afternoon to you. We got very intelligent viewers that have been following us for years, guys, and we welcome your questions out here for Patrick and Jacob. And so I can talk as little as possible here. I'll ask them all about sort of where they grew up and how they got into the Air Force and what they're doing today. But Carlton Bailey gave me a good tip today, John. We got John Graham on the board. Hello, John.
Hey guys, glad to be here.
Hi to Marty out there. Marty helped us set up
Marty's out
today.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
about to say Marty's out
Yeah,
there.
so let's listen to Marty.
he got the guys' names on the bottom there. We're going to change out here in a second. But CB gave me a great idea, guys, that we had two launches 4 hours apart yesterday. And SpaceX has been trying to do that for a couple of attempts. Weather has stopped it, or maybe a scrub for another reason. But boy, they pulled it off. And I mean, the cadence of the rockets going off, I think they're up to 82 or 3. Do you guys
Wow.
know exactly what it is?
No, I do not know off the top of my head.
And I've had a busy day doing my museum director community liaison stuff today, so I didn't harvest a lot of facts. There's always time for that. We want to hear these two gentlemen talk about their passion for wanting to be in a wonderful branch of our American military system. Happy Veterans Day to you guys yesterday.
Thank you.
How did you spend the day, Patrick?
So, as mentioned previously, well, of course, we have to get our free food in. So, we stopped by for breakfast. I actually have my mom in town, so I took her out. We got some good food. Then we went to Kennedy Space Center because they were offering free admission for veterans and then half off for the family. So, it was really nice.
So you went over there by the Atlantis and watched the launch over by there?
I actually went to the Saturn V building. So
Oh, did
even
you?
closer, I was
Oh,
right
even
there on the
sweeter.
water. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
right there by the water, and
Yeah.
I got to watch. I saw the first launch from the water, and then by the Atlantis building for the 4 p.m. one, the 4:28 about.
What a great day.
It was perfect timing. We
Now,
had no idea what was happening.
Now, I know by your bio here that you were raised in Oahu.
Mhm.
Hawaii. Is your mom come from Hawaii to see you?
Yes, she did. She flew all the
Awesome.
way over. It's her first time being here in Florida,
Oh
so
my gosh, what a
yeah.
great day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I talked to some
Perfect
students
timing.
today, the Jefferson Michaelis kids from Brazil that I'll show you some pictures of tomorrow. And I said, you kids hit it just right. 2 launches in one day. It's a beautiful
Nice.
Florida weather, a little bit
Mhm.
hot. But
Yeah, it's still
how
beautiful.
about you, Joseph? Where'd you spend your Veterans Day?
I actually came into work yesterday, just mission
Yeah.
and getting people in, and that was the only day that person could come in, so I wanted to be there for that person. And after, me and my wife had a nice date where we went to Olive Garden, and yeah, that's.
Well, good.
I heard the 2 launches, but inside my building shaking it, so it was
Yeah.
really nice.
I was at my heart doctor getting checked up for the first one.
Hmm.
Heard the rumble and then heard the big boom because I was over there on Sykes Creek Road, CB, where you know where that's at on Merritt Island. And then I was in here for the other one with John, and we didn't hear too much in here. I guess we got a sound chamber in here now.
Yeah, I
My
wait-
booming voice, I'm glad,
hear
because I
it.
know people can hear me sometimes swearing and raise my voice outside the door there. But, well, because of those launches, Carlton Bailey gave me a really great idea, folks, that here's the great idea. Let me make that full there. He sent me a poster, Carlton did, that in 1997, Delta was bragging about doing 2 launches in 5 days.
Mhm.
All right. And back in 27 years ago, that was a pretty big cadence. But one was at Cape Canaveral, and the other was at Vandenberg. And the Vandy one was an Iridium satellite. And you amateur astronomers remember those Iridium satellites. They really had a bright flash to them. They were like the first Starlink group, one of the very first constellations up there. Iridium was, I think, the number element 77 on the periodic table, and they were going to put up 77 of them. And so it was called Iridium up there. And we astronomers predictably could wait and see a big flash in the night sky. So we would tease people by saying, I'm going to make a star appear and go away on there. And we had fun doing that. But they all fell down and back. But 2 in 5 days, and here you had 2 launches, 4 hours, no problem. All right. And let me make that a little bit smaller there so you can see Carlton Bailey's name on there. I'm going to post that on Facebook. 2 pictures that Carlton took there. But as astonishing as 2 in 4 hours sounded like that, the record is really held by NASA when on yesterday, November 11th, an Atlas Agena rocket put a target docking Agena up there for the 2 astronauts of Apollo 12, Jim Lovell and Buzz Aldrin, to go chase down. And they photographed that. They did that in 1 hour and 30 minutes at 2 different launch pads about 3 miles away, or less than 3 miles away in there. There's the Atlas rocket on the left with the Agena target on the top, and the Gemini spacecraft that had Jim Lovell, who's 96 years old, and Buzz Aldrin, of course, the famous man on the moon with Apollo 11, is 94. And at the National Space Club luncheon today that I was at with about 150 people, all people in the business, one of the people I saw there had saw Jim Lovell, who's 96. He's in a nurse at assisted living in the Chicago area where he grew up, and a picture of him and his daughter, and he looked just fine and happy sitting in a chair, just the usual Jim. And he's very important to the Ron Howard movies about like Apollo 13. He was a consultant on and all that stuff. So I get a little space geeked out here on my Gemini guys there, but that's the facts. Jack, is Gemini 12 and NASA set the record at just 99 minutes apart, as where we had the astonishing, really, SpaceX launches 4 hours apart here. So it took a lot of people, a lot of coordination, and the first one, you guys saw it come back. That was his 23rd time that booster's come back.
That's impressive.
Patrick,
Yeah.
yes, it's the leader of the of their stable, so they'll probably do it again. Oh, of course, we got women and recruiters. We're going to end with that, but let me say hello to Cliff Watson, who's in Pomona, Australia, guys.
How you doing, Cliff?
All right, so hello to you in Australia. Dave Stange, he's a great friend up in Macomb, Michigan, and he's taking a break from putting his Christmas decorations out there, John. Do you and Samantha put decorations out?
Oh yeah, we absolutely go crazy when it comes to Christmas. We decorate the house, the yard, the driveway. My wife is insane, and I'm insane when it comes to holiday Christmas.
How many Christmas trees does Samantha decorate?
It's funny that you said that. She just ordered another one today, so this will be our fourth probably Christmas tree in the house. So we have one in kind of in each room. We don't live in a big house. She just likes Christmas. So yeah, that's true.
You know,
Fact.
we never even considered that growing up in the 60s, that you'd have more than one. We could only afford one, by God, you know, back in my hardscrapple world there. Tony Hitch, that's a good new name there. Says you're proud of you, Jacob. Is that a family member?
Yeah, I believe that's actually my wife.
Your wife, okay. Well, hello, Tony, and he's going to tell us where he met you. I read it in his bio there, and thank you, Carlton. He said I enjoyed the arts and crafts project today. You watched me put that together in about what? 20 minutes?
Yeah.
30 minutes?
If that. You know.
Yeah. Well, it took a little bit of time, but I kind of knew we weren't going to have a lot of slides for these gentlemen. I want them to talk about recruiting today, and we want to hear all those experiences there. William Whiting's up in Michigan. Doug Forrest is in Los Angeles. John Borelli, he has been watching at 5:30 a.m. every morning. Finally made a live show. Okay. You hate working, John. Well, retire and work harder like I do here. And Tom Celentano, great guy. And we'll be talking about he always reminds me of our auctions, because we'll have another one that sustained the museum, quite frankly, with artifacts. And he always buys stuff. And we're doing about 8 a year now. So
what do you sell at the auction?
we sell on an auction done by Bid Again Auctions, space memorabilia from space flown flags. You'll have cruise signed photographs. If you want a picture of one of my heroes, John Glenn or Wally Schirra, the Mercury Days, those will be available. Things like that. Hint there, Tony. Check out our auction for your husband there. Buy him some swag there on there. And there's things like piles of patches and decals and things like that people buy on there. And there's Ashley saying hello to her Uncle Jacob there. So thank you very much, y'all. Hope that you find and come back to our Stay Curious program. For over 20 years, the American Space Museum has been preserving the birth of America's space age in what we call its delivery room, Brevard County. You guys got a taste of some of our artifacts here today. How did that strike you, looking at these things that space workers used?
It's amazing seeing history all gathered here in one place. Like, we always wonder what happens to all these old things after they're finished using it as they upgrade. And
Right.
It's
Well,
nice
the Air
to
Force
see.
has their museums for
Yeah.
the same purpose.
mm-hmm.
Civil War artifacts you're looking at are from the 1860s, so that's 160 years ago. And our artifacts are frankly around the 60-year age. And so we hope in 100 years that people are looking at them like that. So, well, that's all for a little bit of space news and some history there. Let's bring the guys up here up close and personal there. And first, Jacob, tell us a little bit about where you were born and raised and why you wanted to join the Air Force.
Yeah, so I was born in Michigan. So hello to all the Michiganders.
Yeah,
out
you've
there.
got a lot of Go Blue.
Go Blue.
They're 5-5, and Ohio State isn't. Did you hear that, Dave Stange?
But growing up in Michigan was amazing. Little cold, but I enjoyed it so much. And the reason why I joined really is just opportunities of the Air Force that it provided me, and millions of other people's as well. And yeah, my dad and mom were in, so I said, why not? It sounds like a great choice, and it makes me make me grow up a little bit, and really come to my own.
Well, he mentions here in your bio you sent me that you looked at college, but you had to pay $120,000 for a degree. and smartly, maybe you said you didn't want to go in debt for that much. And military family, that's great. And he says here, I learned about all the opportunities I could take advantage of and to improve my life and myself. And I mean, you were what age when you joined?
I joined at 18.
18.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's, at 18, I'm not sure I was thinking that line. I'm a baby boomer, and I didn't come from a military background, but I envy these two young men because they've really planned their lives out. I thought back about it. I should have gone in a military service, but we had a thing called the Vietnam War going on. And though I didn't have any big brothers, the ones that went, it wasn't very nice or pretty for them over there. In fact, Marty's watching today. Hoorah! Marty's our Marine and that worked on the Apollo program, and he was an outstanding Marine in the first wave of Vietnam, and they want him to go back for a second tour of duty. He said, nope, not going to go back there. It was, but, if that hadn't been going on, I probably would have got into photography or writing like I did in my life there. So you've been around the world. We'll come back to you here in a minute, but Patrick, born in Hawaii. So what kept you from staying on those beaches there and wanting to get in the Air
It's
Force?
the same question I get asked every time I tell someone I'm from Hawaii. It's like, why
Right.
would you leave that little island,
Yeah,
that
that's
beautiful
right.
weather and all that? It's like,
The greatest telescope up there at Mount Keck and
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff. Not Mount Keck, that's Arizona.
Mauna Kea, yeah.
Oh,
So,
Mauna Kea.
yep. So the biggest reason I say is I've only been on that tiny rock my whole life. I want to see what's out there. I see movies, I see videos of all this, so I want to travel and experience all these kind of things. So I was told, hey, the Air Force travels. That's the way to go. It can pay for my education and give me the experience I would never have if I stayed on that tiny little beautiful island.
You also were motivated by the economy in 2008, you say here.
Correct. So graduated high school 2006. Actually did construction for about 4 years. I was in roofing. We were on the sides of mountains seeing beautiful views at work every day.
Yeah.
It was nice and all, but like I mentioned, 2008 rolled around. It was kind of rough, cutting hours. I couldn't sustain living in Hawaii, right? It's very expensive. So another reason for the military was that stable paycheck, right? We're always guaranteed a paycheck. We don't have to worry where our next meal is coming from and things like that. So another plus to all the other benefits that we receive in the service. They take pretty good care of us.
And where some of the what kind of job did you have? Different jobs, and where'd they take you around the world?
So I enlisted into the Air Force as a ground transportation. Pretty much I drive 18-wheelers, buses, forklifts. I've driven Secret Service for President Obama when he visited our base and things like that as well.
Which base was that?
Osan, South Korea.
Oh,
So-
South Korea.
Mhm.
Yeah, brag about some of the places. We just launched a South
Yeah,
Korea satellite
exactly,
for their
That
television
was
and stuff
the
like
12
that.
one, right? The 12.
And they're very important allies to our country, right?
Definitely, yeah. So, that was my first duty station was South Korea. I was there for a year. Opened my eyes quite a bit, seeing all the new culture and whatnot. It was really awesome getting immersed into that and experiencing new things. It pretty much checked that box off of traveling right away. Immediately after that, I got assigned to United Kingdom, Lakenheath, RAF Lakenheath, if anyone knows where that is. Once again, gave me the opportunity to travel, see new things. From there, I was able to go on vacation to the other European countries. And I even drove up to Norway, 21 hours, visited their base in the Arctic Circle, and did work up there and drove back down. We're talking a big rig through a country I've never driven through before.
And the roads aren't exactly like our roads.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
No,
beautiful
little
scenery. I'll tell you that. Norway is beautiful.
Did you
but
see the aurora
I
borealis
did.
up there at
Yeah,
night?
I was there at towards the end of October, so it lined me up perfectly
Oh, wow.
for that. So that was amazing. Throughout that time as well, then I got stationed in Yokota Air Base, Japan, about 40 minutes outside of Tokyo. So the opportunity just kept
That's
going
some
there.
good unagi there.
Oh, amazing! I love
Yeah.
unagi.
I love my sushi too there. Where would you like to go before you consider
So one of our stations that we have is Kadena Air Base, which is in Okinawa, Japan. So I love Japan itself, and I'm from Hawaii. So Okinawa is an island of Japan, so it's kind of in the middle. of that Hawaii weather, Hawaii lifestyle, and Japanese life as well. So that's someplace I would like to go next.
Well, hope you get to do that. Hope you get to do that, Patrick.
Thank you.
And let's see, Mr. Salwey here. Actually, these are technical sergeants. All right, we'll ask them here in a minute what that means. But you did a little bit of traveling, and you met your wife traveling around. And you guys mentioned England. We've got Robert Laws in Dundee, Scotland, and he'll be knowing all these places that you talk about
Very nice.
in there. And we have an M. Hatch. Hey, Jacob, rocking YouTube from your Brit family back in the UK. Go Air Force, go Space Force. Thank you both for your service. How about that, huh?
Thank you.
amazing.
Good, that's good, man. You got friends all over the world there. And Gary Gerald is our Vidalia onion farmer up in Collins, Georgia.
Okay.
Up there. He's actually brought me boxes of them in
Oh.
here. We met a lot of these people, as I was telling you before we went on air during the pandemic. And Gary particularly was one that compliments us for kind of getting us through that. Dave Stange, another one. They were bored. Everyone was, we weren't quarantined. What do they call it? Where we had to stay in
Lockdown.
lockdown. So be it. We found a little niche there. But where's some of the places you've been, and where'd you meet Tony?
So I started off my career in South Dakota at Ellsworth Air Force Base. Winters are colder than Michigan,
Okay.
but the summer was also amazing. There's so many outdoor things to do, and just met so many great people. And then I went to Kunsan Air Base in Korea, where I got to.
You guys are at the same time or different times? You never
11
meet?
to 12.
No, I was 17, 18.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
okay.
but like you said, the culture, I personally love the food. I always recommend going there because the food is just so amazing.
Yeah. Seems very healthy too, and you
Lots
don't
of
see too many
vegetables.
fat South Koreans walking around.
And from there, I went to RAF Lake and Heath, where I met my wife, and Barry St. Edmund, if he knows where that's at. And then I was there for 4 years, and we got married in Gretna Green, Scotland. And then from there, we went to Osan Air Base, Korea, and spent a couple of years there, and then now here in Titusville, Florida.
Where would you like to go?
My next place I would love to go is Germany. And there's there's a Ramstein Air Base over there.
Very famous,
And,
of course.
Yes, and so when I was in
Very
England,
active base too, obviously, all the time
Very.
with what's going on over there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and when I was in England, the pandemic happened, so I wasn't able to go all around Europe and see
okay.
all those places. I was able to see a few places. I got to go to Paris and watch the women's national team play in 2018, I believe it was, where I saw them play against Chile. And that was amazing. Got to see Paris. I also got to go to Greece and Italy as well. So
What kind of jobs did you do, Jacob?
So I did one job well since I've been in, and that's munition systems technician, and I deal with all the explosives that go on the plane.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The ordnance.
The ordnance, yes.
Okay. As I'm sure you know some very special ordinances that you can't talk about, but well, excellent here. We want to, let's ask you again, what is a technical sergeant? I guess it's you kind of laid it out there. You have
A technical expertise in our career fields. That's
Okay.
what at least is expected of us when we get to those ranks. We're one right below your supervision, your high senior NCOs, your senior non-commissioned officers. We're at a regular non-commissioned officer level, but we are the technical expertise. We don't necessarily, we're no longer the hands-on personnel, if you want to look at it that way, but we are the one guiding those who are actually doing the work and supervising and whatnot.
one comment I have, and if you have any questions there, please ask them, even from the family members there. See if you can get them to blush or something.
That's
Of
already
course, here,
happened.
but when you're 18, 19 years old, John Graham over there on our board, you think 40 years old is really old, okay? To have the
Until you turn 40 years old.
yeah, until you turn
53, yeah.
twice that almost.
Yeah.
But it is kind of true, in a way. But to have the obviously you had good mentors behind you, good family behind you, and so forth. But you seem to make a decision to do this yourself too, Patrick. I just, to have that sort of wisdom at that young age, that, you know what, I put 20 years in a military career. I could retire with a secure financial security and a lot of pride for what I've done for my country, and go on and do anything else you want to do. And believe me, life kind of does begin at 40 for a lot of us, because you finally reached a level of where whatever job you're in, you're doing it the best you can. People can switch around a lot, but you're mature, may have a family, that sort of thing. So how did that process work? So you all are looking at the next 5, 6, 7 years from reading your bios there, that you'll have 20 years in. How did you really process that, Jacob, that this is what you wanted to do?
So when I initially came in, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew that going into the military or in the Air Force in general would help me grow up, get basic life skills, get a real grasp of what independent is. And then it was after, I believe it was after 3 years of being in, I really talked to myself, or sat down and really thought about it, and just how I love what I do. It's became one of my passions, and how I knew if I went to 20 years, I could set myself up for the future as well. So it was, I enjoyed what I was doing, and the personal growth that was happening within inside me, and also I knew I would be set in my later years of life.
2010, that's 14 years ago. And what has changed that you've seen in the military?
In the military, a lot of the processes on how things are run, we have to kind of keep with the times. As society changes, we have to kind of go along with it. What was back then okay is no longer okay now. A lot of our veterans out there would kind of understand that. We have to kind of follow.
I mean, the
along with
culture's
rules.
changed a
Exactly.
little bit. In what ways the culture changed?
A lot of things, a lot of ways we used to kind of enjoy ourselves, have fun, initiate people, have a good time and whatnot is no longer allowed. But
Okay.
a lot of ways we were once disciplined as well is no longer allowed. If you want to call it the
Can't
old
put you in the
school.
brig?
Yeah, right. The old school
or
style.
no more stockade or anything? Gee,
Just
doggone
things
it.
like that, right?
Yeah. I thought you had some tales about that. Well,
Yeah.
really, that's interesting.
Things have
They have to get your attention. You did wrong some way. Is that in your paycheck, or just giving you KP duty all the time?
It could be definitely in your paycheck, a loss of rank. So they'll make you feel it one way or another, right? It'll hit the
Okay.
bank or whatnot. Or you lose the chance to promote. Could be a big hit as well.
Uh-huh.
Things like that, or even the chance to travel.
Yeah, and the most normal is that you get, we call it a letter of counseling. So they're not, we don't just let people down, right? We have troops under us that we need to take care of.
Right.
And when somebody, is not on the right path, we can counsel them and get them on the right path to progress their future.
Well, that is a good thing. It's changed our society. I think the mentoring has really come a long way in the last 30, 40 years. But also, instead of being yelled at, the person that yells at you is going for anger management, and you're going to a counselor to work out some issues in there. In my opinion, guys, not trying to put you guys on the spot there. We're talking with Patrick Eglinton here to my right, and Jacob Salwey over there, and we're putting the names up there that we got. There's Patrick's there, and everything looks spelled right there. Thank you, Marty, for doing all that. Patrick, what's changed in you the last 14 years?
I'm kind of, I guess the direction I want to go, I'm kind of the same way where joining the Air Force, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. Because even before then, I did not want to go straight into college because I didn't grow up as rich as a lot of other people. So I didn't want to start paying into a degree I knew I might end up changing in the future. So at least in the Air Force, I kind of matured up as everyone would. Now I'm looking to go towards like a diagnostic imaging. So that's another good plus about the military is the
Medical field, huh?
right? Exactly.
Interesting.
You can pursue education in something completely different than the job you're doing. So that's my plan is to get into the diagnostic imaging career. So after I retire, that'll probably be what I'll do afterwards.
And how about you? How have you changed, Jacob, last decade?
Well, I feel like the biggest change with me was just the growing up and getting the mentorship and giving mentorship and being able to, I used to turn a wrench but now I can guide, 40 people on how to do that as well. So become like that type of mentor and be able to really just make sure everything goes smoothly.
Excellent. Thank you guys for my little sister Sherry Matthews. Hi, sis, if she's watching. She went in the Air Force instead of college in like 1973 or 4, and became an X-ray or ultrasound technician.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And she
I
did
know.
ultrasound for 40 years in San Angelo, Texas. Never
Awesome.
left Texas. From Lackland there, and it's been a great career for her, of course, and worked for a big OBGYN and saw this machine evolve and what they see with it. It's very fascinating. So good luck to you guys on that.
Thank you.
We did want them to come in and talk a little bit about the separation of the Air Force and the new branch of service that came in 2019. Let me put our pictures up there. The Space Force. The United States Space Force is a department of the Air Force, just like the Marines is a department of the Navy. Marty will say the men's department of the Navy, my friend there. It's called Space Force and not Marine Corps. That might confuse some people in there. But who wants to explain that to our viewers out there?
I can talk about it. So I recruit specifically for the Space Force. So kind of pretty much how it's separate from the Air Force is what we're talking about. Just kind of the activity up in space as we see countries are evolving, we are evolving. There's a lot of commercial space companies out there now, SpaceX, ULA, etc. A lot of things in the sky that we need to put more focus towards, and that's what our government kind of noticed as well. So we wanted to have its own independent branch to focus right on that. So the Space Force was created back in 2019. Now we have our focus teams. It's going to be just your intelligence, your cyber, and your space systems operations are going to be the career fields that we have to offer in the Space Force.
Which is sort of what the Marines branched off to. First recon. We even talked yesterday on Stay Curious, our Veterans Day show, about the origination of oorah, is from the oogala noise of the dive of the submarines that a recon group was on in Korea. And they would go aruga, during drills and exercise and stuff, and it came out oorah eventually there. Even these guys are going to learn something on Stay Curious here. We've got Brendan says Happy Veterans Day. 91B in the National Guard and first responder here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, sir, for your service in there. Jacob, tell us a little bit about the Space Force recruiting like you're doing. Is it just in Florida and Texas, maybe, and California, Vandenberg, or can you walk into Findlay, Ohio recruiter and say, I want to be in the Space Force?
So right now, every Air Force recruiter is also a Space Force recruiter as well. We just have a specialized person as well that is extremely knowledgeable about the whole system. But I'm out of Titusville, so I'm in that Scottsmore, Mims, Titusville, and Port St. John area, and I am in charge of seeking out and finding people that would like to possibly join one of those services.
And how's business?
It's really good, and
Okay.
we're busy, and that's we meet our mark, and it's. A lot of people understand the opportunity that is given to them, and we're helping out them as much as we can.
somebody comes in, they're out of high school, they're just graduated from astronaut high, or they're going to, and I know you do go to the schools, I know, and do events and stuff like that. What's men and women? What kind of women ratio are you getting there?
Correct. The Space Force is shooting for a 51% women to 49% men ratio, if possible.
Did you hear that, guys?
Yep.
More. All right.
That's
really.
that's what they're shooting for. But the stigma behind the military is the first thing they think about is combat.
Right.
No matter what branch it is, they think military equals combat, which is not true. So that's why we still have majority of men still coming to apply. We're not turning them away. Of course, there's no discrimination, anything like that. We still accept them, but we are looking to try and increase our women's force as well.
So a woman that wants to change her life and so forth is really desirable at this stage in there.
Yes.
What are you looking for, Jacob, in these young teenagers that come in to talk to you?
And, just any person that is ready to change their life for the better, and have the opportunity to serve their country. And it can be anyone. There's really no like you said, no, there's a stigma. There's anybody can come and anybody can serve their country.
What can you say about their placement? Do they get a choice of where they want to? And is there what's basic training like, type of stuff like that? Give me the sales pitch there that I'm going to go somewhere and learn what. This isn't like Stripes, the movie Stripes, right? In there.
Yeah, so I mean,
great Bill Murray movie, by the way, Stripes. You know what I'm talking about, John?
I do. Oh gosh, yeah, I love stuff.
So basic training really is there to instill the confidence and get you prepared to what you're going to see while you're in the Air Force, and it builds you up and makes you a better person physically and mentally.
Someone comes in, Patrick, and says, I want to fly those jets.
We kind of guide them on the process and how that works. Because someone straight out of high school, we're not exactly going to let you fly multi-million-dollar aircraft right away, right? But we at least guide them, show them the path it's going to take for you to get to that goal, and how we can provide that help as well. Where to become a pilot, you'd have to be an officer requiring a bachelor's degree. We can provide that education. We can pay for it and get them on that next step headed towards that final goal.
And I would say there's certain tests or things that you do to weed people out to their skill set. Is that right? You take like a aptitude test of things to see where you're good at?
Yeah, so you take the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, which all services take. But that really places where your what would you say?
I guess
like
what
knowledge or
careers you'd be able to do and whatnot. We split it into
an aptitude test.
See where you're at and where you excel in. And then with all that information, plus with a physical when you go to the military entrance processing station, with those together, we can see like what jobs that they would be are available to them.
Well, I'm enjoying talking to these young gentlemen here. They certainly represent what our country's all about. The Space Force here is huge. Patrick Air Force Base has been very involved in our national space program from the 1950s. The 45th Space Wing there is where you get your best weather of the launches on there, because they're over all of that out there. And so I'll give them a little plug there, and if you didn't know that, on there. And got the United States Air Force flag there. Anyone have any questions? Steve Jokums, hope we answered yours, how the Air Force and the Space Force is separated there. Do you know numbers, how many people are in the Space Force and Air Force?
I could kind of do at least a comparison on how much we're putting in each year. That would be kind of give you an idea. I don't know what our current numbers are as they are increasing. For example, the Air Force is putting in about a little over 30,000 new airmen every year.
Okay, that's what we're looking for.
And the Space Force is putting a little over 800 a year.
Okay.
Brand new branch, still very small, but still growing as well. So
What areas do you see growing? I mean, you said you're basically a transportation person in there, and you're dealing with the ordinance.
Mhm.
As this private space industry
Mhm.
is growing, and NASA will probably in 10 years be more of a federal aviation association overseer of the private industry that have already proven they can do things better. Talking about, of course, SpaceX and then Blue Origin soon. What's on the horizon that you can see that would appeal to a recruit?
So the ability for those companies that you just mentioned, ability for them to possibly work there as well. The type of training that they'll be gaining in the Space Force, cyber intelligence, and like I mentioned, space systems operations. They are already working with these companies, SpaceX, ULA, Blue Origin. When these shuttles launch, they utilize one of our deltas. I can't remember the one off the top of my head, but to make sure that the debris is clear in space.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they're not hitting any of this space debris from these old satellites that we talked about previously, crashing into each other and just still floating out there in orbit. Our systems go through that. They use our systems to make sure that their pathways for their new satellites and rockets are not obstructed.
And that brings into
Mhm.
my NORAD out in California,
Yep.
Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
that top secret thing there. I'm really have enjoyed talking to you guys. Jacob, what would make you stay in the Air Force after 20 years and say, hey, you like a few little bars, some clusters on your shoulder there, and they need. We all need officers and people to stay in there. What would make you stay?
So I mean, one big thing that comes to my head is my family, right? I have such great stability in wherever I'm at, and I'm able to, make sure that I can provide what I need to provide. Also, the people that I've worked for as well. I'm big on the whole, my troops. I take care of them as much as I can, and if I'm in a position where I love if I love what I'm doing, and I want to take care of my people, I'll definitely stay past 20.
You've obviously said you'd like to segue into the medical field, but I mean, your superiors come up to you and say, you've done such an outstanding job, we don't want you to go. Look at this figure here, and look at what you can do in 5 years.
Yeah.
Would that twist your arm?
Definitely, yeah. I would definitely stay. I have no reason to leave as soon as I'm retirement eligible. I would stay a lot longer. It doesn't not benefit me to stay longer. It increases all my benefits and whatnot. And like he mentioned, just taking care of everybody. If my country needs me, that's what I'm here for, right?
Well, I'm only putting you on the spot because I see two wonderful gentlemen here that could have a great future, whatever you guys do. Quite obviously, there. Is there something that I didn't ask you as we're going to conclude this episode here today? Is there something that Jacob, I asked you that you'd like to share with your family and friends?
Well, I mean, to anybody that's watching, really, is if you know some individual that doesn't know exactly what they want to do, and they want to possibly have an opportunity in improving their lives, tell them to come by. We're on Garden Street at 2847, right in Titusville. If you think that they would be a good fit for this, and just come talk to me. We can see if there's a great opportunity for them.
Good. Or go to wherever you're at, to the local recruiter there in there. And very good. Yes, get you a Subway while you're there. It's next to the Dollar General. Go down to Kelsey's and then get the oil for your vehicle there. All in the same
One-stop
strip
shop.
mall there. Yeah, that's a good little niche right there. What would you like to share?
So
Patrick, that I hadn't asked you.
Not a problem. Just to tag along with what he was saying, everyone can visit airforce.com or spaceforce.com if you are interested in either branch. They also have a way to find that nearest office on those websites and get in contact to take that next step. A lot of benefits out there. Please do your research. There's a lot of things people don't know that they're missing out on that would have benefited. We accept people up to the age of 41, so don't think it's too late for you.
Age of 40? I didn't ask that
41.
question, John.
To the age of 41. So don't think it's too late for you.
41.
We get people in those age ranges coming to our doors all the time, thinking like, I wish I did this straight out of high school. I wish I knew better. So,
So particularly if you're in your early
Mhm.
30s and
Mhm.
and stuff like that, don't think that you can't do it. That's a
Yeah.
good point there. Great
Exactly.
for pointing that out.
Mhm.
Well, guys, I certainly enjoyed this, Jacob and Patrick.
Thank you.
I've got a little bit of swag here for you
Oh,
from some decals
thank you
and
so
a little
much.
VAB
Thank you.
pass in there and so forth to remember your visit here. I thank all of you for watching today. I think you see the future's bright for America as long as we've got young men and women like this in our armed services. And glad that you all had a wonderful Veterans Day yesterday. And please don't be stranger here at our American Space Museum. I know you'll tell your friends and family to come see us there. John, anything we need to clean up on our Streamlabs board there?
You know, everything looks good. I do have one question
Yeah.
to our guys here. Do you have a challenge coin?
Ooh.
I do.
Okay, you got a challenge coin.
What's a challenge coin?
Well,
My car.
actually, they can explain it easier because since he has a coin, he gets to show
Okay.
you.
So I actually
Well,
challenge coin to me, right, is in the Air Force. It's a coin that you take out with you, and you know if you want to get a beverage or you basically it's showing pride in your career field and your job, and just it's just some little token really.
yeah.
Like I have that one which I got from my senior listed leader, and you know after I did something, and
Bobby,
it's a great
from Bobby.
it's a great
Exactly.
honor. It's one of the things that we can get from our supervision that shows us like, hey, you know, we saw what you did and we appreciate exactly what you did.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel really bad because.
That's excellent. Good question, John.
Yeah, I feel bad because I meant to bring my challenge coin today. I was going to have it. My father, if he was alive, he would have been like, "Where's your challenge coin?" All the time. He says, I would always have my challenge coin on me. And because you're right, when you're going out, that comes in handy.
Good luck
And-
charm or rabbit's
call it
foot
that.
or just sort of the,
Yeah.
in there.
So I wish I brought mine today.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question there. We've got my daughter Jessica and granddaughter McKinley and other granddaughter Macy. They're 3 and 1. They just chimed in there up in East Tennessee, up in Bristol, Tennessee, up there where I spent 35 years.
Oh, wow.
You familiar with that area?
I am not, but I
Or
would
by
love-
Asheville and between Asheville and Knoxville there.
Oh yeah, I've seen Nashville, and I've always wanted to go there. I don't know how
Go to
close that-
Nashville. Nashville's a fun town, for
Mhm.
darn sure. A blast there, and there's a lot of history there, all around it, and the country music and all that.
Oh, yeah.
I love that Nashville for sure. So, well, everybody, thank you all for watching, and we appreciate you all. Share with the other people and like and so forth on our YouTube channel here. We appreciate your family members watching. Thank you very much. If you're interested in space, we do this Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock live, or there's over 700 episodes on YouTube. Gentlemen, this is around episode 1160 for our humble podcast here, born out of the pandemic. And I tell you what, I think it was a wonderful one. And thank you for what you all brought here. Tomorrow we're going to get into some shuttles of the month, some space news. After all, 16 shuttles were launched in the month of November.
Wow.
And we love talking about them.
Mhm.
Today was the anniversary of STS-2, the second time we flew Columbia to space, which now you've got a reusable spacecraft.
Mhm.
The first launch in April '81 was just the first launch, but when November, when Richard Truly and no, his name just escaped me there, but I'll think of it in a minute. They flew Columbia for the second time. Now you got a reusable spacecraft there. So thank you all for watching. On behalf of the American Space Museum, I'm Mark Marquette saying we can't wait to see you in our museum to bridge the space between us.